Hello, that's me today at the Author's Show. Olga Dana coming to you with books which transformed my life. And I wonder, what books actually transformed your life? Can you give me a shout, first of all? Where are you joining me from today, right now? Where are you based? Because right now I am actually far away from my hometown. Well, I'm always far away from my hometown because I was born in Latvia, but right now I'm all the way in sunny Cornwall. And actually here where I'm right now in Tyngdale, it's not that warm, I must say, because it is a bit windy. And I think it's around about 13, 14 degrees, but actually it could be worse. It could be raining. So I'm very grateful. So I wonder, where are you joining me right now? Where are you based and what are you up to today? Today I'll be sharing with you one quite scary story about the books. And another story will be actually about those books which really transformed my life. Just like you, and of course, you are eager to learn more. You're eager to be inspired and motivated and to find out more useful stuff. I was the same when I was from the age of 13, actually, yes, when I was young. From that age, I was always hungry to know more. And I realized at that age that actually you have to start reading books. And so I started. And what's really interesting, oh, by the way, I can see people join me from India. How amazing is that? I love, oh, Diana, actually, Diana is also traveling. Today, I'm joining from St. Albans in England. How amazing is that? And I've been to St. Albans and it is a beautiful, wonderful place. Diana, we're not that far from each other again. And by the way, I've also been to India, I've also been to Mumbai. So I wonder if you can tell me where from you're joining me so I can see whether I've been to your places or not. And maybe one day I actually will come back. It would be wonderful actually to meet face to face. So I wonder what books actually affected you. Can you think of a book which you read and that really affected you? Affected you so much that you thought, oh my God, I would like to be that person. I would like to live life like that character. And this is a scary bit. That's exactly what happened to me. One of the books, not the only book, of course, which I read in my life, but one of the books which I read when I was very young was Scarlett OHara, Gone with the Wind. And I wonder if those who know this book, it's such an old book, actually, they also made a movie, but I must say that that book really taught me, or should I say not the book, but actually the character, Scarlett herself, taught me a lot about life. A lot about how to be a survivor, how to never give up, how to always have a plan, how to have a plan when nobody else has a plan. And I must say that inspired me. I was amazed by her drive. I was amazed by her resourcefulness. I was amazed by her strong character. But there are a few dangerous things. I was also amazed by how adventurous she was, and how big risk taker she was, and how popular she was, and of course how beautiful she was and how everybody admired her. There were so many things which I loved and admired about Scarlett. And I wonder if you read that book or maybe you watched the movie. I do appreciate it's quite an old book and also quite an old movie, so maybe not all of you even came across that. But here's the thing. Let me share with you in a minute, and I will just check where people join me from. It's amazing. Oh, I can see people join me from Egypt. Yep, I've been to Egypt. I've actually enjoyed that. From Pakistan, no, I haven't been to Pakistan yet. You see, I'm saying the word yet. Dubai, yep, I've been to Dubai. Bangladesh, India. Haven't been to Bangladesh, actually. Maybe should come back, who knows? And also have people from Chennai, India. That's wonderful. I haven't been to Chennai, but India is such a big country. I've been 3 times so far, but I promise I'll come back. And Howard, oh, thank you so much. You joined me on Facebook today. By the way, all comments are across 3 platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And Howard is saying on Facebook, Olga, I can't make the lives this week, but I'll be looking out for the replays. Have a good show. Thank you so much. And Howard, you're such a blessing. You're one of my regular visitors, usually on YouTube, but today you're on Facebook. And I really appreciate it. You know, life is busy and we are out of lockdown, majority of countries. And that's all when I'm on my own doing these shows, I'm aiming to make them slightly shorter so you can have more time for your work or other activities, whichever you need to do. And we have more people from India, Kolkata, and Turkey, Istanbul. Yes, I've been to Turkey actually. I've been there. And Philippines. No, well, I haven't been to Philippines yet. Would be good to go actually. That is amazing. KSA, I wonder what it stands for. Hossam, do you mind just to tell me what KSA stands for? Would be really good to know. And actually, those who cannot see these comments on YouTube or Facebook, these are coming from LinkedIn. So, going back to the character. Those who read the book, Gone with the Wind, or Scarlett OHara, probably remember how always powerful, always resourceful, always strong Scarlett was. But also, if you remember, she had life always up and down, up and down, up and down. She was going up and then she was going down. She was going up and she was going down. So that's exactly what actually I subconsciously implemented myself. And that was quite scary when I realized that I'm living the life of my favorite character. And I wonder if you have the same thing. I wonder if you have such a book or a character, it could be a movie, it could be anything else, that you think you live their life. I have a sip of water. I was eating nuts before the show and I can see my voice is going. So what's interesting, we also have Maria joining me. Thank you so much, darling. It's a pleasure to see you. You're joining me on YouTube, which is amazing. Love seeing you on my shows. Oh, Hossam, of course, Saudi Arabia. Sorry, how come I didn't even click on that? Thank you for letting me know. We also have people from Iran. This is amazing. And Alaska. I don't think so I ever had anybody from Alaska. Thank you so much, Artemis. It's such a great pleasure to have you all the way from Alaska and Iran as well. Thank you so very much. Really, really appreciate you joining me. So that's my question to you. Do you have a character from a book or could be even a movie? Because movies also impact us quite a lot. Do you have a character which actually impacted your life and subconsciously you copied their lives? It's quite important to think about it because very often we do it without realizing that. We just copied it subconsciously because we were so drawn into reading that book or watching that movie. We did not separate the reality from fiction. And what happens, your subconscious starts dipping into that story and lives the life of that character. And it is amazing if, let's say, character was living extraordinary life and everything was fabulous, and you look at your life thinking, yay, that's amazing. I couldn't wish for any better life. But in my case, I remember I fed up. After going down again, I was thinking, well, what is happening? What is going on? And because I always believed in coaching, well, since I'm a coach myself, I actually spoke to my coach about this and I was wondering, what is it? So together, and then partially as my homework task, I was working on it. And I got to the point where actually I realized that I was living the life of my favorite character. So be careful what you read, because when you read subconsciously, start living that reality. And that's another proof how our subconscious never separates the reality from the fiction. And I'm excited to share with you some of the books which actually transformed my life. And I must say, Some of you will know because probably you've read them as well. And show me thumbs up if you will hear about them and you will know, yes, of course I know this book. Or it might be you've read it. Okay, one thing is to know about that book. Second thing is actually read it actually. As somebody said, don't do shelf development, do personal development. That's important, right? So one of the books which really, really changed my way of thinking and understanding how finances work was, of course, I think one of the Bibles of financial world, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That was the book which actually made me realize that it's not just the jobs which we have, there are other realities, there are other dimensions which we can enter if we wish to. And that was quite eye-opening. I remember I was around about 18 years old. And that was really fascinating because I was out of my friends. I was the one who read that book. And of course, once you read something amazing, you go to your friends and you want to share with them and you say, hey, I've read this book. It's really transformational, really helpful. Read that. And they looked at me like, yeah, that's about money. We don't need to read that. So that made me think how people are really different. Of course, as time happens, we outgrow our friends, we change environment. I changed the country, I changed the set of friends. Everything has changed in my life. But what's amazing, through generations, this book is still really, really powerful. So I wonder, and show me a thumbs up if you read that book, and what was your most powerful lesson? For me, the most powerful lesson was, and I still remember that, and this is how I know it was the most powerful lesson, that whatever you want to get into your life, make sure your assets are paying for that. And Robert Kiyosaki was bringing a beautiful example about that. He was talking how, let's say if you want a brand new car, his example was Porsche. If you want a Porsche, that he would go here, buy another house, and then tenants would not only pay the mortgage for the house, but will also left over that money, rental money, will be going towards the car. And I remember I had this moment when I realized, oh my God, how I never came up with that. That was mind-blowing for me. And I must say, that's not exactly what I lived by in my entire life. Because as life happens, we all step back and we still kind of lose the focus and the track in our lives. But once I got back on track, that's exactly how I started living my life. And that is remarkable how much things change once I start applying that rule. The other book was really powerful and I really enjoyed reading that. And I wonder if you have read it as well. And I know some people don't really like it because it's like so long, but it is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I know it's again about finances, it's about financial world and prosperity and abundance, but that made me really question how we really create our own reality by just thinking. And I remember when I read that book, not only I reconfirmed with myself once more that it is really important to think only what you want to have in your life, events, people, circumstances, amount of money, jobs, anything, but also what you want in the future, right? Not only in now, think positively about now, be grateful, but also about your future. So that was another book which was really transformational. So those two books was really about money, finances, and that dimension about abundance, which was really powerful for me to learn from. And let me just read this amazing comment from Diana. I know it's quite powerful because it's quite long. So Diana says on LinkedIn, Elizabeth Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love. Ooh, I read this at an older age and chose to allow her story to motivate me. She is still an inspiration to me. As a younger person, a lot of 80s romance stories, which were not very healthy, influences on my thinking about relationships. That is so true. And that is a perfect example how books affect our subconscious. I'm so very selective about the input via conversation, movies, books. We are what we eat, read, watch, think, and speak. Diana, kisses to you. You are so right. 100% agree with you. We are exactly what we're allowed to enter our subconscious, our mindset, and our body. So we have to be really careful. What exactly do we allow to enter our body? Oh, Shashikan is saying, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and cash flow quadrants changed my mindset. Yes, and I agree with you. Cash flow quadrants is really powerful. And actually, Robert Kiyosaki wrote another book. I mean, he wrote so many books. But other book which I really enjoyed reading was Rich Child and Poor Child, which was really interesting. And I read that book because I had my own child. Well, I just had my own child at that age, which was now like 14 years ago because he's 14. But yes, I agree with you. Robert Kiyosaki is amazing and he's mind changer, an absolute mind changer. So here, those were two books which transformed my mind in terms of finances, abundance, and money thinking. The other book which transformed my communication and the way how I am and who I am was Dale Carnegie, How to Make Lots of Friends, I think it was called. And that book was very inspirational to me. How to Influence People and Make More Friends is what it was called. And I must say that that book really opened up my mind again. It was about how to build relationships, how to listen, how to communicate. And I think this could be even looked at like a Bible for communication as well, because it's really powerful and it's really profound book which has everything what you need for building healthy relationships with anybody, right? Including your intimate, your friendships, your co-workers relationships, because it has so much wisdom in it that it is mind-blowing. So I wonder if you read that book, that's Dale Carnegie, How to Influence People and Make More Friends. And actually, I'll share with you something else here. This is it's quite personal, really personal, but since I'm here being transparent with you and wishing to motivate and inspire you even more, and thank you, Yusuf, you actually do say that, you motivate people, congratulations, thank you so very much. The reason why I read that book, because since I was little, I grew up in a place which was outside of a town, it was a little village, and there were not quite a lot of children playing around. So, and also I had siblings to look after. I was the eldest. So I never had the opportunity to play for long enough with those children to make really and create really strong bonds and friendships. So as a result, I never really had great friendships when I was little or even at school, because at school I was bullied a lot. And it was quite interesting how recently I was contacted by a few of those people who were bullying me a lot, and they could not believe my transformation. They were like, Olga, is it really that Olga? Because I had previous surname before. I said, yeah, it's me. Hello. And it was quite interesting how those people that could not believe how much I changed, but that was purely because of what I was feeding my conscious, my mind, and my subconscious as a result with. Those were books. And once I got access to YouTube, which you have right now, back then I haven't had, right? It was also learning from YouTube, because YouTube was forever great platform. Yusuf, thank you so much for saying that. I would expect you to come to Istanbul. Well, one day, you never know. My plan is actually to go global and to be able to do seminars and events at every country in this world, so I can reach out to as many hearts as I can, to as many souls, and to help transform many more lives. So I'm sure I'll be in Turkey as well. And surely, I'm sure you will come there to see me live. And obviously, I'll be able to inspire, motivate, and educate more. So what was interesting when I was reading that book by Dale Carnegie, How to Influence People and Build Friendships, that I recognized how many things were actually deep inside of me, fears, insecurities, lack of confidence, which were affecting the way how other people were perceiving me. And that's why I was really pushing myself to learn and educate myself even more, because I wanted to get myself to the next level. So if I did that, you can do it too. Thank you so much, Shashikant, for this beautiful comment on LinkedIn. Chankiya Niti and Sri Bhagavad Gita, Indian books, touch all aspects of living and thinking. Guys, I'll be really grateful, Diana and Shashikant. Could you please share links to those books? Because I'm sure not only myself, but also other people could benefit from your recommendations, because I think it would be quite powerful to have those books available here, since we're talking today about authors and books on this live show. Thank you so very much in advance. I really appreciate that. And now, if we enter the love and intimacy world, I must say there are two books which I know I mentioned already, even on Friday on my relationship show. I know it was mentioned, but I cannot not mention them again. Those books are 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman and John Gray, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. John Gray, he wrote 26 books, and by the way, surprise, surprise, I was interviewing John Gray. He was at my show, and you can find the interview. If you just type Olga Gaydana and John Gray on YouTube, you will find the interview, because he was giving away so much information. He was literally in the flow. He was so tuned in into sharing so much value that between you and me, I honestly felt like I don't want to even interrupt him. I had questions and I was going to ask them, but I was like, no, just let him share, because what he was sharing was so powerful. And no matter what relationship status you are right now, you could be single, you could be in relationships, I would urge you to go to his website, because he has 26 books there. But that book which really transformed my understanding about relationships was Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And I know he has a new book now, which was specifically written for this nowadays world. So Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus by John Gray. And the other one, 5 Love Languages. I know it is about relationships, and it's about intimate relationships. And by the way, Gary Chapman, he also has a book, 5 Love Languages for Teenagers, which is really powerful as well. That book is not only helpful in relationships, which are intimate relationships. I must say, when I work with clients on their businesses, very often, of course, as a part of business, we are working on the culture. And what's interesting, that book is teaching you how to recognize what is the love language of each individual. But you know what's really interesting? The minute you learn how to recognize what is the love language of each individual you come across, this is the time you can transform absolutely any relationships. Your friendships, relationships with your co-workers, relationships with your managers if you work for somebody, relationships with your employees if you employ people, right? With anybody at any level, at any time. The reason why is not only about 5 love languages. It is also about how we want to be appreciated. What is the best way to be appreciated? And by the way, I made a little video on 5 love languages. All you have to do is just type Olga Gaydana 5 love languages on YouTube search bar, and you will see my video where I talk literally within a couple of minutes about all of them. So if you want to read a book, you can read a book or you can listen to audiobook, but also on my YouTube channel, I actually have a short video about all 5 of them with examples, right? Which is really, really powerful. So what's interesting, every time, every client was applying 5 love languages in their businesses, in their families, with their children and their friends, their life will be taking them to the next level. Simply because you are the result of relationships in your life. Just like when you think you're average of 5 people in your life, you are the result of relationships with these people, right? So if your love language, for example, is words of appreciation, and your love tank is empty because, for example, you're single. This is what very often people ask me, Olga, but I'm single. How can I fulfill my love tank? And I always say, if you're single, in that case, don't worry. You have friends. In that case, you can fill up your love tank with friends' help, with people whom you work together. If you can have a conversation about what is your love language, and you just tell them, could you please tell me great things about me? Not in a nasty way, but just in terms of, I'm learning about myself. I want to understand myself. Could you please share what are the things you like about me? What are the things you admire me for? Nothing wrong with asking that. That actually will help you to grow. That actually will also help you to understand yourself better. And the most powerful thing, that will allow you to see yourself from a completely different perspective, like you never seen yourself before. The thing is, we all have perception of ourselves, which very often, of course, is not the same what other people think of ourselves. So as a result, when you ask these questions from your colleagues, from your friends, from people whom you know, you start learning more about yourself. And this is when your confidence also goes up. But let's not get distracted of the topic of books which transform my life, because you can learn more about 5 love languages on my YouTube channel. Just type 5 love languages, Olga Gaydana, and you will see that. It's very short, very sweet, and I'll tell you more in details about that particular book. Oh, it's amazing comment here, Shashikant. I'm so grateful. This comment actually is on LinkedIn, those who cannot see that. Because of your motivation, I'm able to create first video and post it on YouTube. Highly obliged to you. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. It is so powerful. I mean, I do these videos to inspire and help more people. I do this because I feel I can give back. And I enjoy doing this. But for me to read comments like that, that actually makes me feel really good. Thank you so much. And you see, my love language is words of appreciation and words of affirmations. So when I hear these, you really speak to me in my love language. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And I wonder, everybody else who's watching me right now, I wonder what impact had my video or my post or my article on your life. Was there anything that actually impacted you, transformed you, or somehow challenged you, made you think differently? I would love to hear about that, because that would really make my day. And that actually would make me feel that what I do is the right thing, and I will definitely do more of that. But actually, let's go back to the books, right? I don't want to keep the session way too long, because as I said, when I'm coming on my own to these shows, because I do want to share information which I have and the wisdom which I have and examples of my clients, because I do believe that it is important to also share me and also bring guests. I love having guests on my show, but the reason why also right now I'm on my own at my live show is because I'm traveling. And by the way, those who know me, you know what I'm doing right now. Those who don't know, I'll share with you now. I always had this dream of traveling around the world and continuing my work, because I don't even call it work. I so love it. I'm so in love with my coaching and also speaking, that I always dreamt if only I can actually travel and still continue doing my work. And that's exactly what I do right now. I know we're just out of lockdown. I know the time is still a bit weird and it's not really settled situation in the world. So I didn't go around the world, but what I've done, I went all the way down south to England, to a beautiful place called Cornwall. And I keep looking through the window because it's so beautiful. There's sunshine. It's wonderful. It's not that warm because this is like north of Cornwall and it's quite windy. But right now I'm in a place which is beautiful, gorgeous castle, and it is right on the rock. So you can see the ocean in front of you and the rocks here and there, and just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous place. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you, because I do believe that it is about living your dream on your own terms, living your dreams from your heart, from your soul. And one of the books, it will be the last book for today, and I will wrap it up the show so we can carry on with our days. You will carry on with yours, and I'll carry on with mine, because I have more clients to serve, and then I will be going for a walk. But one more book which I wanted to share is Daniel Priestley, Oversubscribed. It's quite interesting book, because even on the cover of that book, there's a queuing for something. Can't remember exactly what is that, but there's like Q in the S shape. And that book, I would say, is the fault of me being here right now, where I am right now in my life, at the space and dimension, because that book taught me something really powerful. And I still give you this example whenever I can. If you want to live a Ferrari lifestyle, you got to be a Ferrari business. That means your delivery must be at Ferrari lifestyle, Ferrari level. That means the fee should be at Ferrari level as well. And that kind of just transformed my thinking in terms of business. I realized that all the education, all those qualifications, all the time me being in the industry where I am right now are actually absolutely priceless. And I wonder how many people who are watching me right now are at the stage of your business where you know you can do so much better, and yet you don't. And of course, there's a lot more things to learn and do and implement, like your mindset change, which was a massive thing for me. That's why I'm where I am right now, because of my mindset change. And that's why I call myself as Reinvent Mindset Coach, because I believe in reinventing yourself, changing yourself, whether it is with a book help, whether it is with a video help, whether it is, and I would say not whether, but actually very powerful with a coach help. Because what happened when you were little, you were programmed to live certain life at a certain level, at a certain speed. But you are in charge what your life can be like. It's you who's making this choice to follow them, what they told you, parents, teachers, society, or come up with your own life, your own rules, your own environment and society around you, and friendships and circumstances, right? So here's really important to remember that if you really want to get to the next level in the business, it is about the level you choose to be, right? Because anybody has potential to grow and be bigger in the business, but not everybody is choosing to do that. Just like this morning, I had a session with a client. It was quite fascinating. With him, we actually do work on the business, partially of our session, because again, mindset is not only about life coaching, right? Mindset is applied in the business, in relationships, in your life. It's across every area of your life. So part of our sessions is always business, because he is in the business. And what was interesting, we worked on so many aspects so far, and he said something very profound. He said, Olga, you know, I work so hard right now, harder than ever, and yet, you know, it doesn't happen. And ask him two things. First of all, why it should be hard? Who says it should be hard, right? So we had a breakthrough about that. So actually it can be easy, it could be effortless, it could be joyful. It's about the language, right? And that's why it's so powerful to work with a coach, because we are listening to what you're saying and how you're saying. And the second thing, I simply ask him a question. So imagine right now you'll be absolutely successful, flourishing, you know, you are doing in a business so well, like you could never imagine. You have way too many clients you can serve. You are having way too much money coming your way. What's the first thing comes into your mind? And he said, oh, I'll be bored. And I said, and that's exactly what stops you from moving forward. Because subconsciously, really deep down, somewhere there, right? Subconsciously, he has a story about, oh, if I succeed, I will be bored. And yes, we had to go down the journey, find out when exactly the story started so we can really effectively remove it and replace it, right? But the bottom line is, you have a subconscious story which is either holding you back or pushing you forward. And going back to the book example, Daniel Priestley's book actually really made me think at a different level, a different dimension. So I would highly recommend that book as well as many others which I already spoke today about. But the most powerful thing about reading books is not just reading, not just underlining or highlighting or making notes. Like all my books have notes, all of them. I never borrow my books because my books have personal notes. When I read, I make notes about where I am in life, what happens, and yada yada, right? So that's my personal information. And it's about applying. When you read a book, it's about applying, right? Apply, move away. Apply, move away. Go to read another book. Outsource something else. Ask people. But never stop applying. Reading is good, but it's not enough. You have to start applying. Well, thank you so very much. I really appreciate you all joining me today. Yusuf says, thanks to you. It was very good today. We would like to see more of you on the screens. I am actually, Yusuf, coming twice a day, and I think that's already enough. Yes, I'm coming every morning at 7:30 a.m. UK time and 1 p.m. UK time. Usually I'm coming with the guests, but because right now I'm traveling, I didn't want to risk it to not being able to make it because of the connection. Sometimes the internet is not that powerful. So we agreed with some guests to move it to some other dates, and some will be still appearing on my shows. But during this week, it will primarily myself, as I said, because I want to be respectful to my guest times. And at some locations, I already checked in advance. The internet was really good. And also right now, I outsourced myself. That's about being outsourceful, right? A little dongle with a Wi-Fi, which I carry with me everywhere, which is amazing. But again, it can't guarantee network, right? Because it's like something what you cannot touch, feel it. Therefore, you can't really move from one place to another, as you all know. So there we go. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate your comments. There's another comment from Kashif. Your videos really impacted all the time. You make others feel happy, and I'm so happy to hear it. Thank you so very much. It's so powerful to hear that my videos are impactful. That's why I'm here. As I said earlier in this video, my dream is actually to touch so many more souls, so many hearts, so many people's lives. I truly believe everybody can live an absolutely extraordinary life. You all have potential, and that potential can come out, and it should come out. Just allow that to happen. As always, I'm here for you. If you need me, please drop me a message, or even better, go on to calendar link. I'll post it below the video. Book with me a session. We can have a quick conversation about your circumstance right now in life, what you would like to transform, because I strongly, strongly believe there's always room for growth. Always. There's only one time in life when you cannot grow anymore. Like, that's it. Once you reach that point, that's it. The game is over. This is when you are dead. So until you are dead, learn, progress, get better, and move on. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you want more inspiration, more motivation, you can go onto my YouTube channel. Please subscribe so actually you can receive notifications when the videos come out, because I not only post these videos which are live, but also videos in between, so you can have access to them as well. Whatever you do today, have a wonderful day. And those who are joining me tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. UK time, I'll see you there.